guys, I'm Suraj and welcome to the third part of my Python Basics tutorial series. In this video, what we're going to be doing is that I'm going to show you a little bit about if statements and also a little bit about Boolean logic. And if you don't know what those things are, you're going to get to it. I'll get to it in a minute. And I've opened an idle file here, but you can go ahead and do that. Pause the video, do that. But for now, I need to show you a few things, so I'm going to go to shell. As I've said in my previous video, shell is really good for experimenting and showing things. That is why I'm going to be using shell to demonstrate Boolean logic. And then when we're actually going to get to our program, I'm going to be using our code, our file here. So what is Boolean logic? Boolean logic is basically checking things. So if you're a bit confused, if I say a equals to 5, I have to find a variable saying a is 5. Then suppose I want to check if a equals to 5. So this is Boolean logic. What this is basically doing is it's saying double equals basically means is this value equal to this value. So here in this case it's saying is a equal to 5, and that is true because here we defined a is 5. So yeah, if this equals, a single equal sign is assigning a variable its value, and double equal sign is checking stuff, in this case a and 5. So that is Boolean logic. There are many things you can do, like a is not equal to 5. It's gonna say false. So exclamation mark equals basically means not equals. You might be familiar with these things if you have worked with another language before. A is greater than 3. True, because a is greater than 3. This is like the greater than symbol. You might know it from math. A is greater than 5. No, a is not greater than 5. It is 5. Or a is greater than 6. No, and then again for lesser than, a is smaller than 6. Yes, that's true. A is smaller than 5. No, because a is 5. And a is lesser than or equal to 5. Yes, because a is lesser than or equal to. So that's note that the equal sign is on the second position here, here, and also if I do a is greater than or equal to 5, the equal sign, if you're gonna check if a statement is gonna have an equal sign in it, like here or here or here or here, it's gonna be for sure in the second position. Here you're not gonna have it. Why? Because there is no equal sign in this there's no equal sign involved in this statement. But if it is, normally it's gonna be at like the second position. So yeah, this is like a basic introduction into Boolean logic. There's a little bit more to it, like if I do a string called b equals to hey, what's up? And I can say now again I can compare it like b equals to hey. You can do all these fancy things again. B is not equal to yo. Again, you can do all these fancy things again. If you're gonna compare it, I'm just gonna show you what happens if you compare it. B is greater than I don't know, hey. It's again just gonna be weird. Like you're not gonna do this, but what's it basically saying is that b is like greater than hey. It's more than hey. So if I do b is lesser than hey, it's gonna say false, and b is, yeah. But you're never gonna do this kind of thing before, because that is just like it's actually very dumb if you're doing that. But there you can also be a little bit more fancy and say hey in b. What this is basically gonna check if this like word or phrase or whatever you're checking for, if this is in B, then it's gonna check if this is in B. So is the word hey in B? Yes, because if you remember when we defined it as B equals to hey. Oh my gosh, hey. So it is in B. That's a little basic introduction to Boolean logic. And now what we're going to be doing for if statements is that we're going to make a simple program that checks a password. So I'm going to close this window and I'm going to work in this file. And before I begin, I just want to show you a quick built-in function called input, since you're going to be using it. Input. So what this basically does is that it takes in your, so when the program is running, it's going to take in your input. It's going to take in an input and it's going to store this in the variable a. So if I run this and I do yay, it's going to say yay because a is now the variable. And yeah, that was just like a really short introduction into input. That's not even an introduction, I just told you. But now for our actual program, I'm going to do password equals to input, enter your password. And now this is actually, I'm going to call this password input. And our actual password, I'm going to set it, you can set it as whatever you'd like. So in my case, I'm just going to call it food. Yeah, so this is going to be our password input. So this is what we type in, and this is going to be the real password. And if now I'm just going to show you a quick if statement. So if password input equals to equals. Yeah, so what if statements are basically, they're gonna take like this Boolean logic statement and they're gonna check if it's true. If it's true, it's gonna execute the code under it, and note the indent, because the indent after indicates that execute this code if it's indented under this colon. And if you're working with another language, you might have used like curly bracket or something, but in Python we use the colon. Password. So yeah, like I was saying, if you were working with some other language, you might have done something like that, but in Python we don't do that. We just use the colon. So this is gonna be, so I'm just gonna run this. So what if is, again, is that we're gonna take this Boolean logic statement. If password equals password, if it's true, then we're gonna print yay, that was the right password. If not, we're not gonna do anything. So if I do food, it's gonna say yeah, that was the right password. But if I just do not food, it's just gonna skip through this part. Well, so that was a very basic if statement. You can do stuff like that or like that or like that, but we're only gonna check if it's right. And okay, so here we have if the password input is password, then do this. But what if we want to say otherwise, do something else? So otherwise is basically like else. Else is like Python's way of saying otherwise. And print no, that wasn't the, yeah. And so as you can see here, we're using single quotes. You can use double quotes if you like, but it's gonna end this quote. So now again, it's just not a string. But what if you want to escape that that quote mark, that apostrophe? All you have to do is put a backslash and that, and it's not gonna print out the backslash because like the backslash is an escape character. So it's just gonna print wasn't. So it's gonna escape this apostrophe as the end of the string, and it's just gonna print it out, but not the backslash. So if you're a bit confused, I'll show you in a minute. That wasn't the right password. And now if I run it, if I do food, nothing would have changed. But if I do something like not food, it's going to say no, that was not the password. Why is it saying that? Because it's going to check if this is true. Is it true? No, then do this. Okay, and what if you want to do something like you want to set the second password. So what if you want to have two passwords, and password 2 is going to be, I don't know, I'm going to call this yummy. So if I do elif password, so what is elif? Elif is like an if, but so wait, I'm gonna first write this line of code. So elif is basically like if. So what's going to happen is Python is going to check if password input is password. If yes, then it's going to do this. If not, then it's going to check if this statement is true. And you can have as many elifs as you'd like. You can have one if and as many elifs as you'd like, and one else. So then it's going to check if password input is the second password. If yes, then it's going to do this. And if not, then it has no other options than to do this else. So if you're a bit confused now, and I know I'm not really good at explaining, but please bear with me. So enter your password. I'm going to call this food. And again, nothing has changed for the if statement. But if I do yummy, it's going to say that was password 2. Because that was password 2. And if I do just some random letter like it's going to say no, that was not the right password. So this is a really basic if, elif, else. You don't really need this elif. I just wanted to show it to you. And in the next video, what I'm going to be talking about is loops. Loops are basically repeating things. So yeah, in a more like a real password application, it's going to say like no, that was not the right password, and it's going to go again and again and until it's like reach the limit. So yeah, that was it for today. I hope you guys learned something new. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.